of what would I do with $58,477 that I had to spend on motorbikes. This is going to be the on-road segment. There are 6 on-road bikes here, and I'm going to list them in ascending displacement order. So the smallest displacement to the biggest displacement. Pretty straightforward. So first bike in this lineup, the Honda Matic. I believe it's the CM or CB 400. This was a really cool bike. This is an antique bike, and it is a clutchless 2-speed motorcycle. And the reason why I would get something like this is A, I love antique bikes. They always turn heads, and I would like something easy to ride for my girlfriend or to teach people the basics of riding a motorcycle. And a clutchless automatic is a pretty good way to do it. Now, if you're really interested in riding, I'm not going to start you on a clutchless, but for someone who's scared and just wants to see if they can do it, the clutchless 2-speed is not a bad way to go. So that's a really cool bike. Now, next on the list is the VFR 800. Now, yes, I have a VFR 750. Now, when I did this, I planned on keeping my existing stable. So I will still have the VFR 750, but if you guys have seen the last video, or the one with the Teespring campaign, this is going through a change. It's going through a transformation. Not much on it yet because I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will go through a transformation, and it's not going to be a standard VFR when I'm done. Because of that, I want a sport touring bike. So the VFR is one of my favorites. I love the sound of the V4. So VFR 800, the 2003 is the one that I like. Oh, bumpy roads. Next, another antique, a 1980 XS 1100. Now, though you guys know, or should know, that I had a 79 XS 1100, and I traded it for the KLR, which I think was a really good trade. I loved that bike. It was pure power. It was the drag queen of its day, the fastest quarter mile. It's still impressive at 14.1 seconds. And a big 1100cc inline 4 muscle antique fun. So one of those is on there as well. The next, and yes, I have 6, that's 3, we're already at 1100 cc's. Can you guess what the big ones are? Next, number 4 on this list, the Yamaha VMAX, the 1200cc version. This is a 1997 Yamaha VMAX, and another V4 on the list. And one, I just love the sound of the V4. I think the V4 just sounds like a muscle car when it's ripping, and they just sound cool, and the VMAX is just power, and I love it. So the Yamaha VMAX, really cool bike for when I want to go riding with my Harley friends. I don't want to own a Harley. I think they're overpriced for what they are. So I found a VMAX, which is just as much of a gas guzzler, and it's just kind of for cruising. You don't want to ride it for 1,000,000 miles, but just a cruiser. Not a touring bike, a cruiser. Next on the list, you guessed it, the next new one, the KTM Super Duke 1290. I love this bike. It is a torque monster, and it is a hooligan machine, and that's what its purpose is, to slide around corners and do wheelies. That's what I would have it for. I would probably get in lots of legal trouble, but I love that bike, and I found one, a last year's model, on closeout, trying to get it to sell for $2,000 on their MSRP. Pretty good deal if you ask me. The last bike, bigger than the 1290. This is the bike that I chose for 2-up sport touring riding. You might have guessed it, you probably didn't, but the Honda ST1300. Yes, another V4. Have I reiterated the fact enough that I like V4 motors? The ST1300 is a couch made by Honda that you ride, similar to the BMW R1250. Just a fun cruising 2-up sport touring bike. Doesn't have a whole lot of power. It's not going to be the best in the twisties, but if I want to get up and cross the country, that's the bike to do it on. Enough room for 2 people, panniers, and room for a big top case. Get up and go. Road trip, anyone? And that concludes... Oh, wait. No, it doesn't. One more thing on my list. With all these bikes, I gotta get them around somehow, right? Well, I found a 12x6 enclosed locking trailer that I think would be great for all these motorbikes. With these 9 bikes, plus my 2 or 3, depending on if I keep the Ninja or not, I think I would need a way to move them around in case I ever move or relocate. Gotta have something. So a 12x6 would be enough to fit 6 bikes comfortably. Could probably jam more in there if I got really creative with locking and strapping mechanisms. So, what do you guys think? Well, what would you change with that kind of list, or what would you put on that list? I try to get as close to that as possible. The CR500 selling for less than I thought still put me in the positive by about $1,300. So that's enough to pay for insurance for the first year or so if I don't get full coverage. But let me know, guys. What do you think? What would you do with that kind of money that you had to spend on motorbikes and a motorbike trailer? That's optional. So, till next time, guys, it's your pal 2 Wheel Maniac. I'm heading home. It's starting to get dark. I'll catch you on the flip side.